Hello everybody, Rob here. Bit of a cloudy day here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I'm not in the brightest shot here because I want to have a shot of the riverside. So this is how close my apartment is to the riverside, literally a stone's throw away. Now, the reason for this video is because many of my subscribers and followers on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook have asked me to explain a little bit more about the procedure of coming to Cambodia, visas and banks and accommodation and food and so on, and what to expect and how to best deal with it ahead of time to not have any surprises. So that's what this video is about. It's an educational, informative video to help make things easier for you. Now, as far as the visas are concerned, because that's step number one, you've got two options. You can get a visa on arrival, which you have to pay $35 for. That's a tourist visa. It's for 30 days. You can renew that one time, another 35, and then you're done. You've got to go and do a border run. Or you can get a business visa at the Cambodian embassy in your country, London, Paris, or wherever, New York, and that business visa is then extendable for up to 1 year. Okay, now you can also get a business visa, a 30-day business visa on arrival, which costs more, $45 to $50, with a little bit of money under the table for the officers, because you're saying that they will ask you who are you working for, and then you'll say, well, I'm working for myself, because they want to show you proof of employment. But you said, well, no, I work for myself. I'm a digital nomad, and then you have to pay a little bit more. So the simple tourist visa costs $35, and the business one costs $45. So that's what I did with the other option. I was in Singapore. I went to the embassy, and I got the business visa stamp in my passport, and that was it. That made it much easier for me. It cost me a bit more money because I had to kind of fudge the guy a bit. It was during COVID time, and that Cambodia had just opened a couple of weeks before. Singapore was still in the dodgy zone. But so the guy did it for me. Anyway, so once you've done that, you go into Cambodia. It's very, very quick and easy to get through the border, as long as you have your documents set and right and ready. And then if you're in Phnom Penh, well, now they have the new airport, Taco Airport, I think it's called, opening in a couple of weeks. You will have to go and take a bus or a taxi all the way to Phnom Penh, which is about, I think, a 30-minute drive, if not longer, because it's way out of town, unfortunately. So you have to keep that in mind. And also, by the way, you need to have USD dollars, American dollars, when you enter Cambodia, because they only accept US dollars to buy the visa on arrival stamp, not Cambodian real, and not British pounds, and nothing else. So if you take at least $100 or $50 notes, I would take 100 to be on the safe side, and then they will give you the necessary visa stamp, and they will return the difference to you in local cash, Khmer real, Cambodian real. And they do a fair deal, so they don't mess about with the exchange rate. So once that is done, and you're in Phnom Penh, well, it's best to book a guest house or hotel ahead, of course. There are very many good deals to be found. I would go on to booking.com. Well, I can recommend a very good boutique hotel called Goldie Boutique Hotel in BKK1. I pay $12 a night there. And if you want to go there, you just got to let me know and I'll tell them. You'll get the same deal. Otherwise, look on booking.com. Very easy to find nice, cheap, affordable, decent accommodation. You can also go and spend $50, $100, $200, $300 if you go into Sofitel or the Rosewood and whatnot, but you don't need to do that. There's loads of hotels along the riverside. There's one here called the Tower Riverside Residence, but that's also $60. I don't know. I don't want to spend that kind of money on a hotel. So once you're in Cambodia, you've got to make sure you have a working ATM card. You can get cash at pretty much every ATM, but I only use ABA and the Bread Bank because they're the two most reliable ones I find. You can use credit cards or debit cards in many restaurants, but mostly the more upscale ones. the simple restaurants and many grocery stores or particularly local vendors don't accept cards. They accept the QR code scanning off the phone because they don't have the machine. So that's important to know also. If you plan on staying here longer, it's very easy to set up a bank account here. All you have to do is rent an apartment or accommodation and have a contract, 3 to 6 months, preferably 6 months. I did mine initially in 2022 with a 3-month contract, and it was accepted, and I opened my bank account within 30 minutes with the ABA Bank, which is a fantastic bank owned by the National Bank of Canada. It's the most advanced bank I've ever seen in my whole life. They've got branches everywhere. They're super modern. You go in there, there's like 50 service agents walking around and doing everything. They help you instantly, unlike in Europe or the USA where you go in and nobody gives a shit. You can't really do anything in a branch. In the West, you have to do it online. And here it's not the case. You can do everything on the mobile app online too, changing the card, ordering a new one, transferring money and so on and so forth. But if you have a problem like I had as well, because my phone was stolen a couple of times, I had to change the number, I had to change my password, so I installed a bunch more security features such as face recognition and a few other things. So that's the way that works. What else? Those are the two main things. Finding an accommodation here, apartments and so on is pretty easy. There's plenty available, although it's not cheap in Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh is now known to be the third most expensive city in Southeast Asia behind Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. That's based on my experience too. Apartments, 1-bedroom studios, or in a good location, which is BKK1 or the Riverside or Basak Lane area, would cost you a minimum of $450 up to $1,000, plus 1 month's deposit. I was lucky. I found my apartment where I am now on a terrace upstairs, which is not used, so it's a bit grotty, but I don't care. The apartment downstairs is lovely. I only paid $250 a month, and the apartment's about 100 square meters, and it's wonderful. It's old school French colonial style. I don't have to use the AC because it's big walls and the bedrooms at the back, so I never use AC because electricity is very expensive here. That's something to remember as well. If you're not careful, if you use the AC all night long for a month, you're going to end up paying $180 or $200. If you just use fans, you'll pay 30 or 40, 20 or 30 maximum. Yes, so finding apartments is the best thing to do is join a bunch of Facebook groups, Phnom Penh apartments, cheap apartment rental in Phnom Penh, and so on, or the same in Siem Reap. It's much cheaper to rent in Siem Reap, but the prices there have also gone up. I found a lovely apartment for $200 for 2 months when I was there a few weeks ago, but the problem with Siem Reap, I find, is that it gets quite boring after 2 or 3 weeks because there's nothing much to do other than go to see Angkor Wat, walk around town, and go to some restaurants. But it's a very small town, and unless you love partying in the pub street, which is not for me, it's not really a very interesting and inspiring place to be, although it's beautiful. You've got Kampot and Kep. Kampot is a sleepy old town, but it's a lovely riverside and beautiful mountains all around, the Boko mountain range. So you can go hiking, you can go riding a motorcycle up there. That's pretty cool. Lots of trails, lots of waterfalls. But it's kind of boring because there's very little going on there other than the lady bar thing and a lot of drunk expats too. And the same goes for Siem Reap. Too many expats there who like to drink too much. And everybody knows your business in Siem Reap because they just put their nose in your business because it's just the way they are. And of course, they see me on the internet all the time. They see me walking through town. So I've received quite a few nasty messages from fake email accounts and even on my TikTok and YouTube, which of course I just block and delete and forget about. So, phone, internet. Internet's a bit dodgy. It's up and down and not very fast in most places. Of course, high-end restaurants and hotels have fast and reliable internet, but my apartment here is relatively slow, a 50 gigabyte upload, but it doesn't really work all the time. The best phone service to use is Cellcard. They're very fast and cheap. I spend $6 a month for 200 gigabyte. That's amazing, and you can't get through it. So it's so cheap with the phone. It's fantastic. So all you need for that is your passport. You pop into a shop, they're all over the place. You get a local SIM card, and then you're good to go. And then once you have the local phone number, you can then order your tuk-tuks on the app, Pass app or Grab. Do not take tuk-tuks from the street, please, because they charge 5 or 6 or 7 times as much, because they just rip off tourists, because they know that tourists don't know it any better. How would they? They don't know the prices. So if I go here for like a kilometer or two, which takes 5 to 10 minutes, I'll pay $1. If I take one from the street, I'll pay 5. What else is there to know? Well, Cambodia offers lots of other things, beautiful mountain ranges, Mondulkiri, where they make the best coffees in the world, by the way. I'm a coffee lover, and I have lived in Italy and all over Europe, and Italian coffee is fantastic, but the Cambodian coffee is even better. There's another mountain range closer to the north, to Thailand, and I forget what it's called, but it's a beautiful temple on top. I will find more out about that. So, as far as more details are concerned, well, there's tons and tons of restaurants here in any city. Lots of Western restaurants, lots of Middle Eastern, American, French, even English, but Cambodian food is great. The best Cambodian food you can eat is the Cambodian barbecue. It is absolutely delicious, and you usually get a big plate of beef, pork, seafood for something like $9 to $12, which will fill you up so easily. I got another favorite restaurant of mine is called Kima, but it's actually quite expensive. They have 2 specials there, which I go to maybe once or twice a year. One is the cheese and charcuterie special from 7 to 9 p.m. on Saturday, for which you pay $20, and wine, by the way, included. $20, and you can eat and drink as much as you want within those 2 hours. But it's also $20. Because normally I would spend, if I go out, no more than $4 or $5 per meal. But that's pretty damn cheap, right? If you go out to another decent, more upscale place and want to have a steak, you'll probably end up paying 12 to 15. But I go to a lovely restaurant in BKK1 called Samaki, where I pay $7 for a beautiful tenderloin steak. So you've got lots of options. And the second special at Kima is the free flow breakfast. So again, from now they've changed it. It used to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to when the COVID thing finished. Now I think it's sadly 7 to 11 a.m. That's $14 net, but you got to pay plus tax and service there. So it ends up being 16, 17. But again, you can eat all you want, and they make fantastic English breakfast, bacon, sausages, eggs, and cappuccinos. So I was there a few times, quite long ago, 2 years ago, and I had humongous amounts of food, along with 5 or 6 cappuccinos, up until 3 p.m. I think I went there at 1, and I stuffed my face for 2 hours. Yeah, so that's about it. If you have any more questions specifically, motorbike rental is a little bit expensive here compared to Bali, where I was before. For the month, for 125cc, you'll pay around $75 to $100, whereas in Bali, for strong PCX or Honda, at 225, I pay something like $50. So that's that. But you don't really need a motorbike, because you can walk. I walk everywhere in Phnom Penh because I do it for health purposes and also to see places. And if I have to go further, I just take a tuk-tuk, because, to be honest, it's very dangerous riding a motorbike in Phnom Penh. That's the one big downfall. There's lots and lots of accidents where pedestrians get hit because they're told to walk on the right side of the street with the traffic coming behind them, so they don't see what's happening. So many drunk drivers or tired truck drivers or whatever have mowed over people and killed them. A good 200 people this year alone. And the same happens everywhere. So I've been told, because people see me walking on the left with the traffic coming, "Oh, hey, Rob, we saw you walking on the street. You shouldn't walk on the left. You should walk on the right." So no. That's wrong. We are told logically in Europe and everywhere else in the West to walk on the opposite side of the traffic, so you can see it coming. As if something dangerous is happening, you see it coming and you can jump away. Makes sense, right? But for some reason, they've been taught to walk with the traffic behind them. That's about a wrap, guys. If you have any more questions, just DM me and I'll be happy to answer them. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Rob's Health Crunch. Don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel. There is more great content on the way from me about Cambodia, health, fitness, wellness, real healthy food, and great lifestyle habits. Don't forget to enable notifications so you'll know when the latest video is posted. Until then, here's some other great content I think you will enjoy.